in all honesty, the concept of warming up should not be that overcomplicated, and realistically, you should not be spending that much time having to warm up in the first place. If you have to spend 20 up to 30 minutes loosening up before the start of every workout, you got to really reconsider what you're doing throughout the rest of the day. There should be absolutely no reason why you're that stiff and that tight in the first place. What's up everyone, David here. We got a new video for y'all today, but before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. Now for today's video, we're gonna be going over warming up. Now for me personally, when it comes to warm up, I see so many people just realistically overthinking it or just doing things that honestly just have no benefit to the actual workout they're about to do in the first place. But before we actually get into that, I'm gonna tell you what I've done over the years when it comes to warming up. When I first started lifting, what was I doing? I was doing a full body stretching routine, static stretching to be specific, before the start of every workout. Now, was it good for me at the time? Yeah, because placebo effect, I thought I was doing something right, but once I actually started looking into the research, got a little bit more knowledgeable when it comes to working out, I realized that was one of the worst things I could have done for my gains. And I know that's something that many of you do. You stretch before a workout, and you should not. But let me be real clear about that. You shouldn't be doing static stretching before the start of a workout. Now, we got different types of stretches that we do. We got static stretching, which is the ones where I'm pretty sure many of you do, where you hold the stretch in place for, let's just say 20 to 30 seconds. All right, whatever. That is one of the worst things that you can do when it comes to a warm up, and we'll get to it in a bit, but that was something that I was doing. Afterwards, what I started to do was I started focusing a little bit more on the dynamic stretching. So dynamic is more of, some of these, kind of getting a little bit of a stretch in the shoulder, kind of like, moving, twisting side to side, going through a little bit more movement. Nothing wrong with that. We'll get to it in a bit, a little bit further detail. But then afterwards, I started incorporating some soft tissue work like foam rolling. There's different things that I've been trying over the years, but lately I think I found my sweet spot of what I'm going to be doing. And it's a little bit of a combination of dynamic, prehab exercises, and actually just jumping straight into the workout that I'm about to do. So let's actually get into the details about all of that. When we're doing a warm-up, what exactly is the purpose? Most of us actually know the purpose is, we're just going about it in the wrong way. The whole point of the warm-up is to get you ready for the actual main workout. Now, it doesn't matter what workout it is that you're doing, whether it be a leg day, chest day, back day, doesn't matter. Your warm-up should be specific to the actual workout that you're about to do. I see too many people about to jump into the gym and they're gonna be doing some type of upper body workout, but I see them doing mobility drills and warming up from the waist down. They're stretching out their hamstrings, they're rolling out their quads, but then afterwards they jump into the bench press. Why? I don't understand. So just understand, your workouts are gonna be very specific, and so should your warm-ups. Your warm-ups should be something that primes your body and gets you ready for the main work you're about to do. If you have a set muscle group that you're gonna be working that day, all right, let's go ahead and focus on that during the warm-up. So what is one thing that absolutely, without a doubt, we're going to be avoiding when it comes to a warm-up? And that's going to be static stretching. That means actually stretching a muscle through its full length like this and actually holding it. Now, that is something that's going to be very important for the cool down, the very end of a workout, but you never want to do static stretching at the beginning of the workout. Let me explain. Whenever we do a workout, what are we doing? We're contracting our muscle, and then we're going down, getting a little bit of a stretch, and then contracting it, all right? But what happens when we stretch? Let's just say I'm doing a chest stretch like this, opening up right here, and we're holding it for a set time. We're stretching it so far out right here, and we're making it loose. But when we work out, we want to do the opposite. We want to contract it because, we want to build up that tension. You look at the research. There are plenty of research out there, peer-reviewed articles, so many studies being done that show you that actually stretching before a workout, specifically static stretching, can lead to higher risks of injury when it comes to working out. So that's why you want to completely avoid it. Now, are there other types of stretches that you can do before a workout? Absolutely. You got your dynamics and you got your ballistic stretching. Now, dynamic stretching is where it's at. That is something that I'm gonna be incorporating more into my warm-ups, and that's the typical things that you would associate with maybe what you did in PE class in middle school or high school. Remember back in the day when y'all were kids and the PE teacher will have you do some of these, you know, some of these right here. That right there is what you call dynamic stretches, or if you want to think of it as like dynamic warm-up, go for it. It's just movement throughout your body, you know, getting that joint to move through its entire range of motion, you know, getting as much movement in, getting those cracks in. You know, every time I do this, my lower back cracks. In the morning when I wake up and I do this, boom, my shoulder cracks, you know, they loosen things up. That's what you want, okay? Because you're not doing static stretching. Your muscle does get stretched a little, but we're not holding it in that position for like 20 to 30 seconds. We're moving through the range of motion, contracting, and then moving again. That's gonna be a little bit more ideal. Another type of warm-up, which will be more beneficial than just static stretching, which again, you should just be avoiding the static stretching before a workout because that has a higher risk of injury, muscle tears. You know, I've torn a muscle before. It's definitely not a good feeling. I wouldn't recommend it, so avoid it at all costs. But the third type of stretching is gonna be ballistic stretches. So that one's gonna be more of like those jolts, you know, more like boom, like you see a lot of athletes before they start working out, boom, they do some of these, you know, they go boom, they swing their arms a little bit more. It's more of just like that aggressive jolting pattern. That's okay, because think about it, we're taking advantage of the stretch reflex. It's like a rubber band. We're stretching it out and then boom, it's coming back to us. You know, that's that bounce. That is fine. We are stretching the muscle out a little, but it's coming back. We're avoiding the holding of the muscle at all costs. Those two types of movements, the dynamic and the ballistic type stretches, that's gonna be a little bit better for your actual warm-up itself. Now, what else can we do during our warm-up? Soft tissue work. Is it absolutely important for everyone to do? No, but will it benefit some other people? Absolutely. It's just a matter of what works best for you. What we're talking about here is rolling out the muscles. But before that, why would we do that in the first place? We live in a society where we're seated a majority of the day. I mean, let's just be completely honest. Whether you're a full-time student, you're sitting at a desk all day. You work an office job, you're sitting at a desk all day. You're a truck driver, you're in a chair all day. We're sitting down too much. And along with that comes the problem of now we have certain muscle groups that are a little bit tighter. I mean, think about it this way. We're sitting in front of a computer all day like this, or we're driving a truck all day like this. We're rounding the shoulders forward, boom. Chest becomes tight. We got to open that up. Our knees are bent underneath our desk at work all day. So what happens? Our hammies, our hamstrings are tight. So we want to loosen them up. So before the start of your workout, what are some things that you may do? Foam rolling, right? You may actually roll out those muscles. Now, is it absolutely necessary? No, absolutely not. You do not need to, but will it help certain people out? Yeah, by all means. I mean, think about it this way. If I'm gonna be working out my hamstrings and they're a little bit tight, is that gonna affect my workout? Maybe a little. So it wouldn't hurt me to do, you know, a couple seconds of rolling out the hamstrings on a foam roller, you know, maybe 10, 15 seconds on one leg, 10, 50 seconds on the other, and then boom, go straight into my hamstring work. Go ahead and do some RDLs, some leg curls, things like that. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. The problem comes when you actually have to spend an excessive amount of time foam rolling because you are that excessively tight in the first place. Now, what I like to say is if you're that stiff in the first place and you have to dedicate so much time loosening up prior to your workout, then you really got to reconsider what you're doing throughout the rest of the day. I mean, let's put it this way. You're in the gym for, let's just say, an hour, hour and a half workout, 2 hours max. Okay, and you have to spend 20 minutes, maybe sometimes even up to half an hour loosening up before a workout. Like, what are you doing the other 22, 23 hours throughout the day where it got you that stiff in the first place? You know what you can do instead? How about you go a little bit more walking breaks throughout the day? How about you get a little bit more movement in throughout the day? Maybe at the top of every hour, you stand up from your desk, move around a little, get the blood flowing, loosen up the joints, stretch a little, maybe take a lap around the hallway, whatever it is. Just get a little bit more movement in throughout the day, get the blood circulating so that way you don't have to spend as much time foam rolling or doing that soft tissue work at the gym. But you know what, that's just my own personal rant. Do with your life as you please. The third thing, and I think this is also one of those controversial things that isn't necessary, maybe for some people. For me personally, I don't do it too much, but activation exercises. I mean, we put it this way. Let's just say we're doing a squat. What muscles do you work out with your squat? Pretty much majority of the muscles from the waist down, but primarily quads, glutes, you know, things like that. So what do I see some people do? after they do their, dynamic stretches, whatever, they loosen up those hips. After they do the foam rolling, roll out the quads, the hammies, the glutes, whatever, I see them put a band around their knees and they're doing some type of hip mobility drill with that band because they say they need to activate their hips, or they need to prime their hips to squat. Now, is it necessary? I mean, the way I like to think about it is when you actually squat, are you not activating those muscles already through a squat? You have to activate because that's actually what's helping you get the weight up in the first place. But if you want to spend a little bit more time actually doing those smaller exercises, go for it. Is there anything wrong with it? No, but it's absolutely necessary. In my opinion, no, just because once you actually do the exercise itself, you're already going to be activating those muscles. Those muscles are always activated. It's not like we're turning off a muscle. A muscle is always going to be active. It's just a matter of actually contracting it forcefully now against resistance, in this case, against a barbell on your back when you're squatting up. But like I said, do with that as you please. Now, the fourth and final thing that you can do for a warm-up, and is actually the number one thing that I do for my warm-ups, is actually the workout itself, just at a lighter weight. Like I said, you shouldn't be overcomplicating your warm-up. It shouldn't be taking you that much time to get your body ready for whatever exercise it is that you're doing. You wanna know how you can get your body ready for the exercise you're about to do? By actually doing the exercise itself. If I'm gonna go ahead and start doing deadlifts with 4 plates, what am I gonna warm up with doing? I'm going to warm up by doing a couple reps of deadlift with just a bar. Afterwards, I'm gonna throw 1 plate on there and I'm gonna do a couple reps with that. Afterwards, I'm gonna throw on 2 plates, and then 3 plates. Eventually, I'll get to the 4 plates. And I feel like that's something that people just don't understand. Your warm-up can be as simple as actually doing the exercise itself, just at a lighter weight. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, nothing gets your body ready to squat than to actually squat. Go ahead and get a couple little body weight squats in, maybe do some pulses at the bottom. There's your dynamics. There's so many things that you can do. If you need to actually loosen up your ankles a little bit by foam rolling your calves a little, then yeah, you can do that. But essentially, just warming up with your body weight, then squatting with the bar on your back, then putting 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates, or whatever weight it is that you're gonna be doing, eventually working up to your top sets, that should be sufficient enough warm up. Again, assuming you're in good health, you're not just sitting around all day, you're not that stiff in the first place, I see absolutely nothing wrong with just resorting to that as your warm-up. Now, again, everyone's gonna be a little bit different. Psychologically, if you have to go through that entire routine, kind of like your pre-game routine, if this is your pre-lift routine, and you gotta go through dynamic stretches, soft tissue work, all this extra stuff, then by all means, do you, whatever you feel is going to be getting you ready for the actual workout you're about to do, then by all means, go about it however you please. I'm just saying it shouldn't be that overly complicated. Now, another thing that I actually do, and it's not necessarily because it's a warm-up, it's just because if I don't do it here at this portion of the workout, I'm never gonna do it at all. And that's actually prehab work, which for some people, it does kind of fall a little bit under the warm-up routine. But for me, the only reason why I'm doing it is because if I don't do it at that portion at the beginning of the workout, I'm just not gonna do it at all at the end of the workout or through it in the middle of the workout at all. Prehab exercises are just exercises that are meant to prevent an injury from happening in the first place. And the best example I can use out of that is, let's just say I'm going to be doing bench press today. So what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be doing an exercise for the rotator cuff, all right? I'm not saying a warm-up exercise for the rotator cuff. I'm just doing an actual exercise that works on that muscle group and that range of motion that I wouldn't otherwise work throughout the rest of the actual workout, because there's no exercise that mimics it. So what do? I do some of these things with the cables. So this right here is what you call external rotation, but if you're pulling it in, that's called internal rotation. I'm doing that at the very beginning. Is it necessarily for warming up? Not really. It's just more, where else am I gonna put it? Because there's no other exercise I do throughout the rest of my chest workout where my arm is actually moving in this range of motion. And I'm a really big believer in actually training all muscle groups, all ranges of motion. Not everything is about going like this. All right, sometimes you gotta move your arms this way, opening up, rotating. You know, there's a reason why our body is meant to move in all these different directions. So we should be training it in all these different directions. And for me personally, I just found that this is just the best way to put it. The only time I'm actually gonna be doing this, I even sometimes do some of these, boom, boom, boom. Again, pulling back, external rotation, press up with a cable. If I don't do it at the beginning of the workout, I'm not gonna do it at all throughout the rest of the workout. So Do with it as you please. I'm doing that. Good for your shoulders. Again, how do we get a lot of shoulder injuries? When we do something out of the ordinary. Like, how many people have thrown a football when they get older and they haven't thrown a football since they were in high school, and all of a sudden, oh man, they tore something in the rotator cuff. Why? Because their body's not used to moving in that range of motion. So I'm going to continue training in all ranges of motion, again, to avoid injury from happening in the first place. But that's just a me thing. So to sum things up, warm-ups do not have to be overly complicated. What are they for? To actually get you ready for the main exercise or the main workout that you're actually going to be going about throughout that particular workout. If you're going to be doing an upper body workout, then your warm-up should be aimed towards the muscle groups that you're going to be hitting in the upper body. If you got squats that day, then your warm-up should be specific to what's going to help you perform better on squats. So first thing, stretches. Static stretches is definitely a no-no. However, dynamics and ballistic stretches, by all means, include them in your warm-up. Next, soft tissue work. Necessary? No. Helpful? Yes. Move around more throughout the rest of the day though, so you're not so stiff. But if you're coming into the workout and, oh man, you gotta loosen things up a little bit, all right, spend a couple seconds rolling out whatever muscle group it is that you're gonna be warming up that day. But again, it shouldn't be taking that long. There's no reason for you to be that stiff in the first place. Next, actually do the movement itself, but at a lighter weight. If you're gonna be doing deadlifts that day, okay, warm up with just the bar. Do a couple of reps, get your body used to moving in that range of motion, then slowly add weight, and then you'll get to your top set. And then lastly, just for the sake of throwing it in the workout, if you want to include some prehab work, for many people, that alone could also be a very good warm-up. But me personally, I'm just doing it because I don't want to get injured in the first place, and I really don't feel like doing it at the end of the workout. So if I'm gonna do it at the beginning as part of my warm-up, I'm just not gonna get to it at all. But that's just me personally. Your warm-up though should be catered to your needs specifically. Also, warm-ups are very psychological. It's like an athlete's pregame routine. Everything has to be done in a certain way to get them ready for the big showing in the game. Same thing with your workout. If you got to do this, this, and that to get you ready for a big lift, then by all means, if it's psychological, if it gets you in the right headspace, if it makes you think you're going to be performing better, then hey, go about it. Do whatever you want. Just understand that this whole concept of warm-up should not be overly complicated. Hopefully this video was helpful. Comment down below what are some tips that you have for your warm-up and what exactly does your warm-up consist of. Let's try to help each other out. Also, be sure to comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help y'all out. Be sure to subscribe not just to my channel, but my girlfriend's channel and our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. And in Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on my accounts, girlfriend's accounts, couples accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. That being said, I'll catch y'all next time.